Om Shri Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram.
We heartily welcome Guru Sri Anand Dayanidhi ji for the series of discourses, what he has graciously agreed to do for Vishwarupa Sai consciousness, to enlighten all of us. We are ever grateful to serve to Guruji, not only for the spiritual wisdom, for the spiritual wisdom what he gives, but also for imparting this sacred knowledge to tiny tots, children who are under less than 10 years. And he's also graciously agreed to train them so that every Saturday 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock they have their upanyasam, which started with Netra, Kumari Netra last week, and previously they had done a program on Narasimha Jayanti and for Shankara Jayanti. Yeah, Sir Guru, we are very, very grateful to you. It's a great seva what you're doing for mankind, for posterity. So for next 25 weeks, at least, we are booked on Saturdays. And these children are the ones who are going to teach elders like us to tread the path of bhakti, and that is only royal path. Over to you, Guruji. Sai Ram.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Gurunath Maharaj ki Jai. Antasunum Radhikam cha bhavayantam sada hridi. Vandeham Gurudevam tam Krishna prema rasapradam. Kalaye sundarakaram sataika priyadarshanam. Ajnananasakam devam sadgurum muralidharam. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarvapapa Pranasanam Pranamo Dukkha Samanaha Tam Namami Harim Param. Gopika Jeevana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. By the abundant grace of Sri Krishna, we have the best fortune of talking about Bhishma Stuti in Srimad Bhagavatam. As I have been maintaining, all stutis are towards Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Akasha Paditam Toyam Yada Gacchati Sagaram Sarvadeva Namaskaraha Keshavam Pradigacchati. Your stavam or stuti may be towards any devata. Ultimately, it reaches Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Krishna is Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. All the devatas, any devatas are Krishna's angas, body parts. So it is like, praying to Krishna is like you have a tree and you want to water the tree. No one would water the tree for the leaves or the branches or something, or the fruits. People always go to the root and water it. So it is like, for the entire Prapancha, the root is Krishna. Krishna Paramatma. So any stuti, whether knowingly or unknowingly, Akasha Patitam Toyam. Whatever water comes is pouring from the sky, ultimately it goes to sea. Like that, any prayer which goes out of you goes to Krishna only. So, but the bhava in which the stutis are made are totally different. That is what the appreciable part, the greatest part in Srimad Bhagavatam. I have been explaining about the life history, the tyagam of Bhishma, the life of how Bhima relinquished his whole life for the sake of humanity. So last week I was talking about how Bhishma managed this Kuru Vamsa after his father, and how Satyavati requested Bhishma to get into married life. For Satyavati's sake only, because Satyavati became Bhishma's stepmother. To enable his father to marry his stepmother, Bhishma sacrificed his life. He vowed celibacy, acute celibacy throughout his life. And in the next generation, there is a situation. There was a situation that Bhishma was forced to marry, because none of his brothers who were born out of the marriage between Machaganti and Shantanu were able to bear child. So that is the beauty of life. But even at that time, Bhishma refused, because he said, whatever commitment I had given to Krishna. At no circumstance I would change my word. So I had explained about the Pitru Bhakti of Bhishma in sacrificing his life for his father's happiness. Bhishma is a Satyasanta. Once he says something, and it is always done in his life. That is why Bhagavan is so happy with him. In later stage, in Mahabharata war, Bhagavan changed his word. Bhagavan's words are Nigamas. It is Agamas. It is Vedas. Vedas are never, they cannot be changed. But Bhagavan took an oath that, I would not carry any weapon in this Mahabharata war. But for the purpose of Bhishma, Bhagavan Shri Krishna sacrificed his vow. He broke his vow. That is the beauty of, he wanted Bhishma to be a Satyasanta. That was the greatness of Bhagavan. That was his Karunya, and Bhishma was the fitting person to receive that Karunya, because he was a born Satyasanta, Bhishma. So that was the beauty. So we must appreciate these nuances in Mahabharata. Even though an opportunity came and Bhishma was not very old, he can still get into married life, he can still bear children. But at that time, Bhishma decided, no, I will be only the protector of this family. I would not take the leadership, in the sense that, I would not become the king. Bhishma would have become the king also, because Santanu's two sons, this Rukmangada is their name, Vichitravirya and Chitrangada. Chitrangada was killed by a Gandharva for sharing his name, and Vichitravirya had two wives, Ambika and Ambalika. But Vichitravirya passed away early because of disease. So at that time, Satyavati requested Bhishma. Bhishma refused. No mother. No, it is not possible. Bhishma was very firm. And Satyavati Machaganti, I told you, she was earlier called as Satyavati. Her original name was Satyavati. She was born out of the Uparichara Vasu, the king. So she prayed to Veda Vyasa. Veda Vyasa was born to her for Parashara. It was not a birth like a normal birth. It was like an avatar. Parashara was a rishi, and because of his blessings, because of his sankalpa, Satyavati bore the child, and immediately Satyavati was only an instrument, because a mother is needed. So a father, a mother, Vyasa appeared. And then Vyasa did namaskaram to Satyavati, and Vyasa went ahead with his father. But that time Veda Vyasa told Satyavati, mother, whenever you need me, you call me. So this critical situation, when the family has to grow, and Vichitravirya was dying, or already died. At that time, it was a very great the secret in the palace. So Vyasa came. Vyasa was requested by Satyavati that, you please bless children to Ambika and Ambalika. Vyasa, with a great heart, to ensure that this great dynasty does not end, he goes to their houses. Vyasa is a great Muni. It is no Garbhadanam done by the pregnancy created by rishis are not by physical means. We should not think in a different way like an ordinary man. So the more we explain, the more we bring Vyasa down. So it is better that we understand that there are certain things which are beyond our comprehension, but they are true. For everything, if we seek, scientific truth and other thing, it becomes very difficult. At somewhere, we need to trust the Vedas. That is where the whole thing is there. Because today, a wife, a woman is having a child in his womb. The child in the womb can be transferred to another woman, or one person semen can be used to produce a child in somebody else's uterus. It is all possible. They call it as all technological things. Those days rishis did it by their tapas. Like we create the computer-aided missiles today. In those days, rishis created those astras and they controlled it by mind and mantras. So what we cannot, today we see Google Earth from the sky, from the satellite, and see even the streets and our verandas. In those days, Sanjaya was sitting in Kurukshetra, Sanjaya was sitting in Hastinapura and looking at the Kurukshetra Yuddha and narrating. So many things which are possible, which are narrated in a different way. So Vyasa came. Vyasa was not received properly by Ambika and Ambalika. This Ambika and Ambalika story I already told you. Amba, Ambika and Ambalika. So this Ambika, she closed her eyes and Ambalika wore a white saree. So since she closed her eyes, she was blessed with a blind son, Dhritarashtra. Since Ambalika wore a white saree, she was blessed with a son who is having a white skin, Pandu. And then there was one Dasi of Vichitra Virya. She was a very noble lady, very devoted to Vichitra Virya. She knew the greatness of Veda Vyasa. So she did Pada Puja to Veda Vyasa and prayed for his blessings. So Vyasa was so happy with her attitude and with her humility and humbleness. So Vyasa blessed her with a Mahatma, son Vidura was born to her. So this is how the Mahabharata developed. Dhritarashtra married Gandhari and he had 100 sons and one daughter. They are called Kauravas. Pandu was married to Kunti and Madri, and Pandu had a curse. The Pandu was a great warrior. Pandu expanded the kingdom the way Bhishma did, and all the properties were annexed by Pandu only. But unfortunately, one day what happened, Pandu, when he was hunting, by mistake, he killed a rishi. A rishi took the form of an animal, like a deer, and then his wife as a deer and the rishi as a deer, they were playing. And when they were in unison, Pandu killed him. So that time he got the curse. The curse was that you cannot unite with your wife. If you try to do that, then you are dead. So Pandu was totally deflated because he had no children at that time, 2 young wives. So he did not tell this to his wife. Obviously, he wanted to run away from the family. So he entrusted the Rajya to Dhritarashtra, the blind man, and Bhishma was always the guardian. Under this situation, Pandu left and his wives also followed him to Himalayas. They went to Rishi's ashram and then they were living a very, very noble life, very religious life. And then, one day when Madri and Pandu were together, Pandu resisted that, I am not supposed to do this. But still, Madri insisted and Pandu died because of the curse. So Madri thought, but before these things happened, Kunti realized this and then Kunti told Pandu about the boon that he had from Durvasa, that by praying to Devatas, she can get sons. So Pandu allowed her because he cannot produce sons himself because of the curse. So with Pandu's Viryas, the 3 sons came. That is Dharmaputra, and then Vayu Amsam, the Amsam of Vayu Maruti, that is Bhimasena, and then Indra himself came as Arjuna. The Dharmaraja came as Yudhishthira, 3 sons of Kunti. And Madri had two sons. Ashwini Kumaras came as Nakula and Sagadeva. Madri also got children because of the blessings of Kunti. Kunti told her the mantra with the permission of Pandu. And then 5 sons were born, and Madri entrusted the 2 sons to Kunti, and she died with Pandu. The funeral fire, Madri entered because Madri did not want to live, because of her, Pandu died. That was her feeling. So entrusted 2 children to Kunti. So Kunti was a young widow, and she brought all the 5 sons. That is why they are called Pancha Pandavas. Nobody knew that, Nakula and Sagadeva were Madri's sons. Kunti's their Samadarsana in bringing up all the 5 children is so great. In fact, Kunti is more affectionate, more devoted to the Nakula and Sagadeva. So that was the story began. So with all this background, Bhishma was managing the whole family. So under the situation, what has happened is the Mahabharata story continued, as we all know. It's a great story. And in the war, Bhishma was hurt. When Mahabharata war was happening, Bhishma was the first Senadipati, the commander-in-chief. And what happened? Out of the 18 days war, 10 days war was done by Bhishma, under Bhishma's leadership. So out of 18 days, Bhishma was fighting. And on the 10th day, Bhishma was hit by Shikandi and Arjuna. I told you about the story of Amba. Amba came back, and he was born as the son of Panchala Raja, and then there was a garland given by Subramanya. That garland was hanging in the Panchala Desha. That garland attracted this person, Shikandi. Shikandi wore it. So everybody knew Shikandi was going to kill Bhishma. So under this situation, Shikandi's background story was known to Bhishma. Bhishma has a determination that he would never fight a person who was earlier a lady and converted himself into a man. That was Shikandi's story. Under this situation, this 10 days war happened, and finally they decided to finish Bhishma. 10 days Bhishma's war. He was the leader of Mahabharata. So the very important thing is, I am trying to consolidate a lot of things in the last 3 weeks. So there must be presence and attendance through the whole lecture, so that it would be easier for people to connect. So if there are any questions, I request that that we may discuss in the end of the session or separately. But I am trying to go forward. Under this situation, this Shikandi was brought, and when Shikandi came in front, Bhishma refused to fight. So it was the blessing of Shantanu that Bhishma was allowed to choose his time of death, Swachanda Mrityu. So Bhishma did not die. He was uprooted from his chariot and he fell down. And he was pierced with full of arrows. And then he was lying on the ground. And then everybody came, and then they pay their respect. And then after that, 8 days of war was over. After Bhishma, Drona became the commander-in-chief, the Senadipati. And then Karna was the Senadipati for around 2.5 days. Karna was also killed. And after Karna was gone, Salyan, that is the grandfather of Nakula and Sagadeva, unfortunately fell in the part of Kauravas. So Salya Raja was the final commander-in-chief. So 18 days, everybody were killed. Only thing is, Duryodhana escaped himself. He offered everybody to Pandavas. Everybody got killed, but Duryodhana escaped. Duryodhana went and hid himself in some water, some kind of a lake. That is another story. And Bhima searched him and killed Duryodhana also. So this is the way that Mahabharata Yuddha was going. But parallelly, after the Yuddha was over, Bhishma was still alive in Sharatalpam. Talpam means bed, Sharam means arrows. So he was lying on arrows only because he was a true Kshatriya. As per Kshatriya Dharma, once you are hurt badly in the battle, you should lie down in the battlefield only. You are not supposed to be brought home and treated, or doctors go there and treat. Either you die. In the process of dying, you can be bitten by eagles and vultures and other things. You can have a death, or some wild animals can get into the war front and then kill the people who are already killed. And then the wives and daughters and sons, they go and they pay their lost respect in the battlefield only. And then after they died, they are removed and then the necessary samskaras will be done. This is a great thing for a warrior. A Kshatriya has to die a noble death like that. If they are brought to hospital in ambulance or something, it is a very, very cheap death. They never like it. Dharmyarthi yuddhachreyom yad kshatriyasya navidyate. Bhagavan is telling in Bhagavad Gita. Yadrichayacha upapannam swargadwaram apavrutam sukinaha kshatriya partha labande yuddham idrisam. He also, Bhagavan says, if a person gets killed in war, he fights to his fullest potential and dies, and then he is straight away for doing his duty, for doing that supreme sacrifice, he goes to heaven. That is Bhagavan's own word. So Bhishma was looking forward for such a death, a noble death. So all these happened. Mahabharata Yuddha was over. After Mahabharata Yuddha was over, I told about the Kunti Stuti in my previous lecture. At the time, because Duryodhana was yet to die, Duryodhana's thighs were broken by Bhima. Under this situation, Ashwatthama was raging with fire of vengeance because Drona's son was Ashwatthama. He wanted to take revenge on Pandavas. He could not do anything to Pandavas. So what he did was, he went into the camp of Pandavas. It was yet to be disassembled. People were a bit relaxed and children were sleeping. The Upa Pandavas, the 5 sons of Pandavas were sleeping, deeply sleeping in the night. He went in and then he killed all the 5 boys who were sleeping. So that was a very cruel act by a Brahmin, Ashwatthama. For that, Ashwatthama was caught by Arjuna and Krishna. But because of the prayer of Draupadi, even though Draupadi lost all the 5 sons, Draupadi did not want the mother of Ashwatthama to face the same fate that she was facing. That was the greatness of Draupadi. So they pardoned Ashwatthama, and then Ashwatthama's this hair was cut. It was shaved. It is not cut, it was shaved. And then he was released. Ashwatthama did not like it. Ashwatthama put an Brahmastra into the womb of Uttara Kumari. Uttara Kumari was Arjuna's daughter-in-law. Arjuna's son was Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu's wife was Uttara Kumari. And to save the child in the womb of Uttara Kumari, Bhagavan got into Garbhavasa, and then Krishna protected that child. That child was Parikshit. And because of Parikshit only, we got this Bhagavatam. So all these things I tried my best to explain in the previous lecture. All these are very meticulously recorded. It is certainly a very big treasure. It is not that I am telling. It is not the question of that who is telling and who is listening. But the very purpose that these things are written by Veda Vyasa for the purpose of mankind, that we must know how our ancestors lived in a very, very righteous way, in a very dharmic way. So Ashwatthama's astra was, cleared by Bhagavan, and then the child was born called Vishnu Rataha, that is Parikshit. When Bhagavan saved the child, Kunti prayed out of the feeling of how Bhagavan is saving. Kunti was repeatedly thinking in a grateful way, in a very thankful way, Bhagavan's mercy. So the opportunity in life to think repeatedly about Bhagavan's grace, Bhagavan's Kripanu Sandhanam. They call it as Kripa Smaranam. That was Kunti Stuti. We explained. Now we are talking about Bhishma. Bhishma is still not dead. So Bhishma is still here. At the time, after the Kunti Stuti was over, all the 5 sons were cremated. And Duryodhana is also gone. At this time, then Bhishma was left out. Why Bhishma was left out? Bhishma being a Yogishwara, being a great devotee of Krishna, he was waiting for Krishna's darshan. He was waiting for Krishna's darshan. So Krishna was creating an opportunity to go and have darshan of Bhishmacharya. Bhagavan Krishna wanted to have darshan of his devotee, Bhishma. So one day, Dharmaputra was having lot of bad feeling because of his efforts. The great Mahabharata Yuddha happened. And in the Mahabharata Yuddha, all the family members and friends and relatives, many kings were killed. Many of the daughters, many of the sisters were now widows. The country is full of widows. Young girls being widows, it's a big problem. And then, lot of mothers lost their sons, lot of fathers lost their sons, lot of children lost their fathers in the war. So this is a great damage that Kurukshetra Yuddha created in the subcontinent, in the Bharat. What has happened? Because Yudhishthira took responsibility and he could not get out of the feeling, bad feeling. So he was thinking every day that because of me it has happened. Arjuna had this feeling prior to Mahabharata Yuddha. We must understand one beauty. Mahabharata itself, in the Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita was taught on the 10th day only. Dhritarashtra thought, as long as Bhishma was there, nobody can beat them. On the 10th day, Bhishma fell. Then Dhritarashtra asked his aide. It's called Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya is a Shishya of Vyasa. These 2 beautiful fellows are sitting there. One fellow is born blind. The other fellow, Dhananjaya, can see from Hastinapura. He can see Kurukshetra. That was the greatness. Vyasa Prasad. Because of Vyasa Prasada. Because of the mercy of Vyasa, he was given the Durdarshan, capability of looking what is happening elsewhere. So that is why the great sloka was coined. Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta, Yutsavaha, Mamakaha, Pandavaschaiva, Kimma Kurvata, Sanjaya. I told Dhananjaya, sorry, his name was Sanjaya. Dhananjaya is Arjuna. So this Sanjaya. Sanjaya is, by the grace of Vyasa, Sanjaya was a charioteer. Also the mantri of Dhritarashtra. So he narrated Bhagavad Gita. He told Bhagavan, he is telling Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. How? Because Arjuna was not willing to fight. Having come to fight, he was not willing to fight. Here, after the fight is over, Yudhishthira is feeling bad. This is a much worse situation. So under this situation, what happened? Krishna, he wanted to have darshan of Krishna. He went to Krishna. Yudhishthira went to Krishna Bhavana. Krishna was sitting there. In the outside, the Darwan was there. The gatekeeper was there. He stopped Yudhishthira. Maharaj, you cannot get in now. Yudhishthira was surprised. Because Yudhishthira can freely walk into Krishna's room. Nobody can stop him. Krishna himself has permitted him. But why today I am stopped? Because Maharaj, Bhagavan is in dhyana. He is doing meditation. Then Yudhishthira was totally surprised. Because of simple reason, the entire world is thinking about Krishna. We are all doing meditation of Krishna. And now the gatekeeper is telling, watchman is telling, security is telling that Krishna is doing meditation. When the entire world is thinking about Krishna, about whom this fellow is going to meditate. So Yudhishthira was totally confused. This is something drama. This fellow is a big drama artist. So he is creating some alibi for not letting me in. No, I want to see. He said, no, so Maharaj, Krishna is in, our Bhagavan is in dhyana, you cannot get in. So Yudhishthira was sitting outside thinking, cursing, what this fellow is doing dhyana? Whom he is thinking? Like that he was sitting. After half an hour or 45 minutes, then the Darwan, the gatekeeper came and said, Maharaj, you can go in. Now he's finished his dhyana. So he went inside. The first question was, Krishna, what is this you are doing? He says, the moment Bhagavan sees Yudhishthira, he comes and falls at his feet. Krishna Varma. Like that, he says, Abhibadi. He says, Abhibadi, and then he did Namaskar. Yudhishthira says, it is all fine, no problem. But you tell me one question. When the entire world is meditating upon you, Krishna, 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 whom did you meditate upon? I want to know that secret. Then Bhagavan says a very, very important thing to Yudhishthira. Why? Why? Whole world can meditate upon me, it is fine. But I am also meditating. I am also always thinking about somebody. That is what I am trying to ask. Whom do you meditate? I think always about my bhaktas. Prahlada Narada Parashara Pundarika Vyasambarisha Sukasaunaga Bhishmadalbhyan Rukmangadarjuna Vasishta Vibhishanadin Punyaniman Paramabhagavatam Smarami. I think about the Paramabhagavatas. I think about Paramabhagavatas. Oh, Prahlada, Narada, Parasara, Pundarika, Vyasa, Ambarisha. Today, whom are you thinking about? Today, I was contemplating about our great-grandfather, Bhishma Pitama. Can we go and have his darshan? Yes, I am going. Are you coming? Then Krishna took Yudhishthira. When Yudhishthira was going to have darshan of Bhishma, all the four brothers joined. When Yudhishthira, Panchapandavas are going to Kurukshetra with Krishna, all the rishis in India, they all started. Because they want to see the Sangama of Bhishma and Krishna. On one side, Dharmavadam Varishtaha, the man who knows all the dharmas in the earth, is Bhishma. On the other side, Dharmasya Prabhu Achyuta, who is the god of all dharmas, that is Krishna. When these two people are going to meet, who will miss that opportunity? So all the Raja Rishis, all the Brahma Rishis, all the Deva Rishis like Narada, everybody started from their place, from their abode, and then they are there, in the place where Bhishma was lying down. So Krishna came, Krishna went and fell at the feet of Bhishma. He did Abhivade. Bhishma was crying, looking at Krishna. And all the five brothers came, Kunti came, Dhritarashtra came, Draupadi came, everybody were falling at the feet of their great-grandfather, Bhishma. Bhishma started talking. Bhishma telling, he looked at Yudhishthira and says, Aho kashtam aho nyayam yad yuyam dharmanandanaga jivitum nargata klishtam vipradharmachyutasrayaha. In this life, somebody is doing dubious things, fraudulent things, troubling others, who are not having a rightful life, a right life, then they are suffering, it is fine. A person is a thief, he is suffering, it is fine. He is a cheater, he is suffering, fine. But you are all Dharmanandana. In your side, you yourself, Dharma Devata himself has born as Yudhishthira. Indra himself born as Arjuna. And Vayu Bhagavan is himself Bhimasena. Ashwini Kumaras been Nakula Savadevas. And then you abide by the rules of Brahmins. Whatever Veda says, you are abiding. You live for the protection of cows. You live for the protection of the society. You live for the protection of Dharma. The rules and regulations laid by Manu. Because you are all Vipra, Dharma, Achyuta Asraya. Above all, you are all fully devoted to Krishna. Krishna is in your side. And you have Krishna. And you have the Dhananjaya with Gandiva. Arjuna with his Bhav. And Bhimasena with his Parakrama. And then Yudhishthira, you are Dharma Devata himself. In spite of all these things, you are having all the troubles in life. Mahabharata is full of the troubles of Pandavas because they tried their best to abide with the rules and regulations. And Kunti has been suffering from the very young age. That is what Kunti said. Vishan Mahagni Purusha Dadarsanati Asat Savaya Vanavasa Krichrataha Mrude Mrude Aneka Magaratastrato Draumyastrataschasma Hare Abhirakshitaha. In spite of all the troubles, no trouble touched you. You suffered all the trouble, but you came victorious out of all the troubles because of the grace of Krishna. Because you followed the path of Dharma, even though you got the justice late, but Krishna was always with you. So this is the difference between a person who is suffering and the other person who is protected by Krishna. So Bhishma was crying and telling, Sarvam Kalakrutam Manye Bhavatam Chayat Apriyam. Kunti with young children as a young widow, how much suffering Kunti suffered, I know. As the eldest person in the family, I know her suffering. But I could not do anything to wipe her suffering, because that is the way the life is formed. And how much trouble that, all these people, Pandavas, underwent, we know. So, Sarvam Kalakrutam, he says, I think that time is something which is beyond everything. You cannot do anything. What we must understand is, if somebody has to go through some trouble, people have to go through because of time. Sarvam Kalakrutam Mandi. Bhavatam Chayat Apriyam. So, but I tell you one thing, Yudhishthira, Bhishma is telling this. Bhishma is telling this to Yudhishthira. I have told you that you have a lot of suffering, but you have the biggest boon in your life. What is that? Yeshavai Bhagavan Sakshat Adyo Narayana Puman. The man who is standing next to you now, Parthasarathi, Sri Krishna Paramatma, is nothing other than Sakshat Narayana. Yeshavai Bhagavan Sakshat Adyo Narayana Puman. Mohayan Mayaya Lokam Udascharasi Vishnishu. He is just roaming around as a Vrishni. Udascharasi. He is hiding himself. He is camouflaging himself just to cheat people. But actually he is Parama Purusha. So, who will know his greatness? I tell you. I am telling you not because that I know. I have heard from people like Parameshwara. The Parameshwara of Kailasa. Devarishi Narada Sakshat Bhagavan Kapilo Nrupe. So, Asyanubhavam Bhagavan Vedaguhyatamam Shivaha. So, greatness of Krishna is known by Shiva. Who can talk about Narayana? Shiva is entitled to know about Ram. And then Devarishi Narada. Narada knows Sakshat Bhagavan Kapilaha. Kapila Vasudeva knows. Bhishma says, you are thinking himself as your uncle's son, because Kunti's brother is Vasudeva. Vasudeva's son is Vasudeva. Yam manyase matuleyam priyam mitram sugurtamam akaros sachivam dutam sauhrudat athasaratim. What is the greatest blessing that you have is, you are thinking is your Matuleya. In Tamil, we call it as Ammanji. If the aunt's son is called Attan, and then the uncle's son, Mama's son is called Ammanji. So, Devarishi, that is what he said, Matuleya. Yam Manyase Matule. You are thinking him as your relative, blood relative. Priyam Mitram. And he is your Priya. Because you love him so much. He is your friend, Mitram, Suhurtam. Now he says Mitram, Suhurtam. What is the difference between Mitram and Mitra means friend. Suhurt also means friend. Bhishma uses Mitram, Suhurtam. Friend is because of relationship or like and other thing. Suhurtam means irrespective of the situation, a person who always does good one, even if you hurt him. Even if you hurt him, because the child, when the mother is feeding, the child bites, but still the mother feeds. That is the greatness. Like that, you throw stone on a tree, getting the stone pelting, the tree gives you mango. So that is called a Sugurtamam. In spite of, even if you do apakaram, he will always think about good for you. What is shreyas for you? That is why Sugurtamam. Irrespective of any situation, the only person who is a Sugurtamam, who is a Sugurtu Uttamam, Sugurtu Tamam, means the topmost of all the Sugurtu. He is the Atma Swarupa. He is the Atma Swarupa himself. So, Yanmanyase Matuleyam, Priyam Nitram Sugurtamam, Akarogo Sachivam Dutam. You made him as your mantri. Whenever you are in trouble, whenever you want good advice, you always call upon Krishna. Krishna, what can I do? He is your mantri, Sachivaha. And when nobody was there to go and represent your points to Dhritarashtra, then Krishna came as Pandava Duta. Very, very famous Perumal, Pandava Duta Perumal. In Kanchipuram is there. Dutam Sauhrudat Atasaratim. Because of his Sauhrdam. Sauhrdam means his friendship, his love, his affection. He has become your Sarathi. At the end of the day, what has happened? He started riding the horses and chariot for Arjuna. Sauhrudat Atasaratim. That is what yesterday also I was telling in a Upanyasam. The difference between Partha Sarathi and any other Sarathi. Partha Sarathi was doing everything. Washing the horses, feeding the horses, cleaning the chariot, riding the chariot, doing everything. Even if the chariot is stuck in the mud, in the battlefield, the Partha Sarathi was ready enough to give you shoulders. Like a driver changing the tires if the tires are punctured. Partha Sarathi was ready to do anything for Arjuna. At the same time, Karna had Salya as the charioteer for some time, Sarathi. But Salya thought, himself great. He was great actually, but not greater than Krishna. But the greatest Vastu on this earth does not think any greatness of itself out of Sauhrudat, because of the love and affection it has for his bhaktas, devotees. Whereas Salya fought with Karna and went away. One simple request Karna did. He did not request it, he ordered Salya. He said, hey Sarathi, take the chariot out of the mud. Then Salya became angry. How can he call me Sarathi? I'm a king. I'm an emperor. Out of friendship, I am driving the car for you. But bloody fellow, you asked me to change the tire. You do it yourself. He walked away from the chariot in the battlefield. So there the difference between Krishna and Salya. Swartha Sarathi is ready to do anything for his devotee. That is the greatness of Bhagavan. Sauhrudat. The only one person in this world who is always with you, who never hates you, who always is ready to do anything for you is Krishna. Unless we have this conviction, our life is not going to change. Akaro Sachivam Dutam Sauhrudat Atasaratim Sarvatmanaha Samadrisho Hedvayasya Anaham Kritehe Tatkritam Mati Vaishamyam Nirabhadyasya Nakvachite. Here, Bhishma is still not started his stuti. Maybe I will touch upon the prelude only today also. Maybe next week I can start the actual stuti of Bhishma. But we need to understand the flow of stuti. Unless we need to understand these things, preludes, to appreciate the stuti in every detail. You see in life, you are hurt by something. Here, Bhishma is hurt by Krishna. Krishna only instigated the concept of Shikandi. He brought Shikandi and he kept the Shikandi in the war front. The moment Bhishma looked at Shikandi, Bhishma did not fight. It was a resolution of Bhishma that I won't fight Shikandi. So, the concept of Shikandi was invoked by Krishna. And with Shikandi in the front, Arjuna hit Bhishma. That is how it happened. But still, Bhishma says, Krishna is the most balanced person on this earth. It is not that Krishna disliked me or Krishna cheated me. It was my own choice not to fight against Shikandi. Krishna did not say to Bhishma, don't fight Shikhandi. It was Bhishma's decision. Like in our life, our own attitude, our own refusal to certain things, our own refusal to good things or bad things. If you continue to do bad things, refusing to change, you suffer. If you don't acknowledge good things, then you suffer. And then, when somebody say, when you are putting yourself in such a situation that Bhishma could have fought Shikhandi, but it was his own choice. That is how his life has to come to an end. Because Shikhandi was created for the end of Bhishma. Jatasehi dhruvo mrityuhu. There is no point in blaming Krishna for everything. Because the sun is hot, the floor is hot, the temperature is hot, I don't have AC. Who do I blame in my life? There is no point. For small things, we find fault with others. The coffee is not having sugar, then we blame somebody. If we are walking, then the doorstep, if you hit on the doorstep, then we are blaming the doorstep. We must say that, I have not seen. I failed to see. Not that it is there only. Instead of that, we are blaming that. It came in between, like that we say. In that situation, Bhishma, the biggest Acharya, Bhishmacharya, he says, this Krishna is Sarvatmanaha Samadrisaha. He has no preference for anybody. Be it a worm to Brahma, Krishna treats equally. Then why is the worm? Why is a mosquito? And why he has become a Brahma? Is because of his attitude and his karma. The body is out of the karma in the previous births. Krishna has no role. Krishna has created Vedas. Krishna is presenting himself. He gives you Guru. He shows you the right path. It is up to us to choose. When we have chosen something different, what we liked, not what is right, then blaming Krishna is not acceptable. That is what he says. It was my choice not to fight Shikhandi. It was not Krishna's decision to bring Shikhandi and hit me. Krishna knew, I knew that Shikhandi was going to be my final ending. He is going to write the final essay. So, Sarvatmanas Samadriso, he Advayasya Anagangkritehe, and he does not have a feeling that, me and self and other things Krishna does not have. Tatkritam Mativaishamyam Niravadyasya Nakvachit Mativaishamyam. Krishna does not possess the feeling somebody has to be saved, somebody has to be killed. He never felt Duryodhana has to be killed or Arjuna has to be protected. That is true. But from outside, we feel that, he always worked to work toward the defeat of Kauravas and winning of Pandavas. It is not Krishna's fault. It is the attitude of Duryodhana which made his end. Because when before the war, in Dwaraka, both Duryodhana and Arjuna came. Bhagavan offered, I won't fight because both of you are equally close to me, equal relatives to me. So I am not going to fight. My brother has walked out. Balarama took another decision of walking out of the whole situation. Then Bhagavan said, I will not walk out. I will be here. I will be here. Because Bhagavan has committed to Draupadi. Because Draupadi says that, what I had gone through, what the insult I had gone through as a woman, Krishna, you are the person. Govinda, you are there, you have to take care of me. So that word Bhagavan has given, yes, Draupadi, I will certainly, whether your husbands take revenge or not, I will take revenge. Because that is Bhakta. Because one side, Bhagavan is equal to everybody. But when it comes to a devotee, a true devotee, Bhagavan is indebted to the devotee. So Bhagavan has these two roles. These two roles. In life, everybody has these two roles. So what is this? How we can understand is a person who is a judge. And also he has a son. Unfortunately, his son has a problem and caught by police. And his son was produced in the court. He sits there in the judgment. He could not rescue himself. So he says that, the merit of the case, and then his son is accused now. And he is convicted. So he has to remand him for 15 days. He says, you take him into custody and then come to me after 3 days. And then he comes home and wife is crying. He removes the coat and then he sits there all the things are going. His son, how he was born, how affectionate to. Somehow, because of bad company, he got into wrong people. So it is okay, fine. Now, the biggest trouble for that father is to get the son out of the jail. On Monday morning, I had to get a good vakil, good lawyer, and take bail for him. As a judge, he saw the merit of the case, and then he said that you put him in jail. You take him into custody for 2 days, and Monday we see in the court. So 2 days his son was in jail. Monday morning he gets a good lawyer and then pleads for mercy and says, please give bail. I will bring him into court whenever you want. And then whatever decision you say, then as the judge, he can give the bail or whatever. So the same person is the judge also. He punishes and also he is making the person to bail, because on one side he is a criminal, on the other side he is son. So Bhagavan has the role. If the criminal does not plead for that, then the judge won't give bail. That is the beauty of it. That is why even if you do mistake, if you go to Krishna and seek pardon, and Krishna is ready to forgive us. So there are two roles. One is the Jagat Dhata. He has to run this world. For that, he has created certain rules and regulations, which is Papa and Punya. The other thing is his own family, his devotees. These two roles. So Bhagavan has the role of the universal coordinator, universal God, the universal controller. On the other side, Bhagavan has the role of Jagat Pita. Jagat Pita. So which role you are appealing to? If you go and talk to him as the controller of the whole universe, then he goes for law. He can't. But if you go and appeal to him as your father, then the aspect of mercy comes. That is where the Mahalakshmi Tayar is sitting in his Vakshasthala and then, talking in our favor. She says, who is not doing mistake? Please give him a chance. So this is where the our whole Shastra is. Never, you cannot escape without punishment. You cannot escape without punishment. But only thing, the punishment is to make the people, not that, every time I get the punishment, I do the mistake. Punishment should make us feel that, we should not be in the situation again. So, Tatkritam Mati Vaishamyam. So, in that fashion, Bhagavan offered himself equally to Duryodhana and Arjuna. Duryodhana chose the army of the Narayana Sena of Yadavas in place of Krishna, because Duryodhana thought Krishna has no fighting skills. Even if he is fighting, then at least I have some use, that I can use him for fighting. But he decided not to fight, not to take weapon. So what is the point in feeding him? There is no use. He is going to eat unnecessarily in my camp without doing anything. So I would prefer to take his army, which is huge in numbers. That is one way of doing. That was Duryodhana's choice. What Arjuna thought was that, I don't need anything. Krishna, you don't have to fight for me, because you are Sugurtamam. The only thing is that you do is, you sit in my house and, in the sofa, and, you always look at me, smile at me, and then you ask me, Arjuna, how are you? Then that is enough for me. Your mere presence is enough for me. Then who has to blame? Who has to blame? And because of the fact that Krishna is in the side of Pandavas, Yata Krishna Tato Jaya. Where Krishna is, that is where the victory is. There is no doubt in it. There is no Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Tatra Partho Dhanudaraha, Tatra Shri Vijayo Dhruva Nitir Matirmama. Dhananjayas, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanudaraha. Wherever Krishna is there, Krishna is mind. Arjuna is heart. Then heart and mind. Heart must be under the control of mind. Emotion should be controlled by the mind. Not that, mind is controlled by your emotions. Then it is reverse. So, that is where the concept of Krishna, Bhagavad Gita. Under that situation, he taught Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Tatkritam Mativaishamyam Niravadyasya Natkvachit Tatapi Ekanta Bhakteshu Pasya Bhupanukampitam. Then Bhishma started crying. He says, you see, is it not foolish on me to say that, Krishna is having that Mati Vaishamya, some bad thinking. I am now dying, and he is coming and standing in front of me to give darshan. Tatapi ekanta bhaktesh asya bhupanukampitam. You see his compassion. Anukampitam. Anukampa means compassion. You see his boundless compassion. He has the compassion and love and affection towards me to stand in front of me when I am going to die. Who can do this? Yenme asun tyajataha sakshat Krishno darshanamagataha. When I am going to leave my body and I have the greatest fortune, Janmalabha Parapumsam Ante Narayana. When you are, whatever life you may live, whichever life you may live, but ultimately at the time of death, if you have the smarana, thinking of Krishna, then your life, you have passed your life. That is the biggest profit that you can earn from your life, this human birth. Whatever you do, you can always chant Vedas, you can read all Puranas, you can always do pujas, but at the end of the life, if you start thinking about something else, then it is useless. The entire life is useless. Tinsel. So it is not about what you do, it is about the attitude that you create. It is about how much you care about the mercy of Krishna. You should develop the faith. We should develop the faith on Krishna's mercy. And we must firmly believe it is not our effort that protects, it is His grace that protects. So it is His grace that protects. Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhajam Udhamate. Samprapte, Samnihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati, Dugurinch Karati. Nothing else will save other than Krishna Krupa. Yanme Asun Tejataha Sakshat Krishno Darsanamagataha Bhaktya Veshya Mano Yasmin Vacha Yannama Kirtayanni Tyajan Kalevaram Yogi Uchate Kama Karma Bihi. Bhishma says that if somebody thinks about Krishna and then leaves his physical body, then he never comes back into this earth. He reaches the holy feet, the abode of Krishna, the Golokam. So he prays to Krishna. He tells Bhishma has the audacity to tell Krishna, Sa Deva Devo Bhagavan Pratikshata. I want some time. He's telling the Supreme God. He does not even have an iota of doubt. He is fully convinced with the compassion of Krishna. Krishna is personification of love. He has come at the right time because Krishna knows that I am going to leave my body. It is an indication to me. And he is standing. So let him stand. Krishna say, he has the Bhishma has the audacity, the courage to say, Sa Deva Devo Bhagavan Pratikshatam. Let that Bhagavan wait. I want to talk to him. Whatever I am going to talk for the next hours, let the Bhagavan listen. Krishna happily abide by the order of Bhishma. That is the meritorious life that he has lived. He has never lied in his life. He has never made any compromises in his life. So such a meritorious life, the Bhagavan himself is afraid of Bhishma. So the life should be like, Ramachandra or Bhishma, that even the gods should be afraid. Kasya Vidyati Devascha Jataroshasya Samvide. Even gods are afraid of Bhagavan Rama, even though he was born as a man. Normally, Devas are not afraid of human beings, but Devas were afraid of Rama for the simple reason, the merit of his life. Satyam, Dharmam. So, Sadeva Devo Bhagavan Pratikshatam. We also pray that Bhagavan Sri Krishna wait in our hearts till we meet in the next Upanyasam, because it is already 1 o'clock. So I will continue. We will talk about how Bhishma narrated all the Shastras to Yudhishthira. And then after hearing all the Shastras, Yudhishthira asked for Vishnu Sahasranamam. And after saying Vishnu Sahasranamam, finally before he leaves his physical body, Bhishma had a stuti with him, which is submitted to the holy feet of Krishna. So slowly next week we will recollect these things, and then we get into the Bhishma stuti. In Mahabharata it is called Bhishma Rajastavam. It is a different. In Bhagavatam it is called Bhishma stuti. So we will have the greatest fortune of continuing this Bhishma stuti in our next session, next Sunday, 12 o'clock. Gopika Jeevana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Gopika Jeevana Smaranam.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Such an uplifting talk, Guruji. Cannot wait till next Sunday to listen to Bhishma Stuti. I really don't know if you can come up to Bhishma Stuti next week, because there is so much for you to prepare us to come up to Bhishma Stuti, but can't just wait, because it is so nectarine, so uplifting, and so reassuring that this is only the path and there's no other path, and all other things are waste. Yeah, thank you so much, Guruji. And அதாவது எவ்வளோ நன்றி சொன்னாலுமே போராது. ஏன்னா you're really this is Swami's infinite mercy and grace that he's taking Vishwarupa Sai consciousness to multi-dimensional path of jnana. On one side we are chanting the Vedam every day, we are chanting Rudram. Other side there is Sankirtana Seva going on. On the third side, he's brought you into the into the fold for Upanyasams. Not only you, those Bala, I don't know what to call them. They're all angels who have so much of jnana. So plus there's so much of meditations and contemplations in our quantum ascension group, multi-dimensional astral travels. So Swami, he's resolved to take us all across the path of across the ocean of samsara, and he's putting everyone into an intense sadhana mode. Either it is namasmarana or sankirtana seva or dhyana or japa. So everyone is in that, whoever is involved in this Vishwarupa Sai consciousness, 24/7. Only the sleep time possibly they're not doing, subconsciously, yes. Otherwise it's always Bhagavad Chintana. And he's planted his angels like you, to come and lead us to the path. Because there may be some portions which by omission and commission we may not do. Bhagavan, out of his infinite compassion, he does not want to leave any room. You want to take the Bhakti Marga, Karma Marga, Jnana Marga, I will facilitate everything. You please come to me. Time has come. Enough is enough. We are separated. Now, please, it's for you, time for you to walk home. Thank you, sir. Thank you. In fact, I have tears when I say all these things.
Radhe Krishna.
Radhe Krishna, Adya, Sai Ram.
Adya, Subrabara.
Radhe Krishna.
Radhe Krishna, Chalame. So sweet of you, Kandama. Again, I was listening to your Shankara Stuti. The Shankara Upanyasam, no? That's night, தூங்கறதுக்கு முன்னாடி கேட்டுட்டு இருந்தேன். அப்புறம் பாதி கார்த்தால இது கேட்டேன், about நரசிம்மர் பத்தி பாதி கேட்டேன். அதுக்குள்ள வேற வேலை வந்துடுத்தோ. So I stopped that. Now I'll continue after this. சரியா? ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம் சார். சாய்ராம்.
Okay, Radhe Krishna.
Radhe Krishna.